Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here, and welcome back, guys, for another YouTube video. Apologies for no videos over the past 3 days, just been very busy. However, I have been putting updates out on Twitter, and of course, you know, if you are a part of my Patreon, you've been getting updates. And last night we did a community meeting where we spoke about the fact that the 20k level for Bitcoin that has being defended for a short period of time was actually not going to hold. And we jumped into volume analysis to really dictate this to us. Of course, Bitcoin is now under 20k, and it's very likely that 20k is going to be resistance, having previously been support. And if you guys are following me on Twitter, link to my Twitter in the description. It costs you nothing to follow me over there. You would have seen that we had tweeted yesterday that this was not going to hold. This 20k level wasn't going to hold. How did we know that? Well, we looked at volume analysis. My whole trading strategy has very much shifted to being volume focused. Volume precedes price. You can tell pretty much everything from volume. You know, and price is almost secondary. If you think about the fact it's really volume that dictates the price. But we'll get into that a lot more on this channel. And of course, in my sort of group, it's something that we're going to be doing a lot of analysis on. But you can see this 20k level here. Volume here, but declining volume. And the last little, you know, sort of flirt with this area was on extremely low volume, which shows that the buyers just simply didn't want the smoke anymore, and that the support was running out of momentum. Very obvious that this was going to fall. Here we are today. We will drop down the timeframes and talk about it. And then we've got a lot to get into, because obviously we haven't made a video in the past 3 days. And I really want to be stressing the kind of environment that we are in. Anybody that has been following me now for the past 3 months or so will know that this was to be expected. The environment that we are in is not an accommodating one for markets across the board. It is a dollar liquidity squeeze. Markets typically, certainly when you look at the US market, and of course Bitcoin, is largely driven by dollar interaction. And I want to pull this tweet up here. This was retweeted from Lynn Alden. Lynn Alden is amazing to follow, by the way. For me, she's really one of my go-tos, along with the likes of David Bell and a number of other people. But this is world dollar liquidity. It's at pretty much an all-time low. So if dollars move markets and there's not many dollars floating around, and why is that? We know the interest rate hiking and the tightening and everything going on. Then, you know, markets aren't going to do too well in that environment. And we've been saying this for a long time. And I always get the comments going, oh, but you were so bullish in 2021. Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you go and watch my videos from 2+ years ago, you'll see that we gave some absolute gems like ADA, like Chainlink, like even Ethereum at $100 and something, Bitcoin at 7,000. You know, and we absolutely nailed the bull market. What we got wrong was how it was going to end. And if I'd only paid a bit more attention to the macro situation, we'd have got that right. And it wasn't really till this year where we changed our stance. But the problem that people have got that are still losing is they're still in 2021's mentality. It doesn't matter how revolutionary Bitcoin is. If nobody's buying it, the price doesn't go up. That's the same with all cryptocurrencies. And I'm getting so sick and tired of crypto Twitter and crypto YouTube. It's a joke. If you only have a little bit of knowledge, you can see what the majority of people out there are saying is complete and utter garbage. I mean, you know, that's one reason I actually didn't mind taking, you know, the last 3 days off, was because it's a nice break for me not to. Sometimes I think, you know, there is hope for humanity. And then I look at YouTube and I look at Twitter and I just think, yeah, maybe not. Anyway, that's a rant, guys, that I'm going to move on from. So, you know, we knew that this level was essentially going to fall based on volume. And volume would have told us actually that this would have been a perfect time to get out, given that this high was made on lower volume after sort of uptrending volume throughout the uptrend, showing that the trend was coming to an end and kind of vulnerable for a reversal. Again, with Ethereum, you can use Ethereum as a perfect example. Look at this rally here. Low volume. Nobody wants the smoke there. Nobody's interacting with this. You need to see high volume on these up moves. Again, you can see the same with here. Look at the volume throughout this. Where does the volume occur? On the sell-off. You actually have low volume, and where does the volume start upticking for Ethereum? On the downtrend. Seller's market right now. Same thing with Bitcoin. This entire move, and we've told you this time and time again, huge amounts of volume, exhaustion. You typically will get some sort of a pushback of then, as you've seen a lot of sell pressure, lots of panic. These big wicks are typically called by panic. And then what happens to the volume? It drops off. Then it comes back up again. But where does it come back up? On the sell-off. 20K was never going to hold, and you could see that in the volume. And this may start to uptick. Remember, this moving average that I've got on here for the volume indicator is it's a 9. It's a magnitude of 9. I like to use a smaller volume just because it's more sensitive to shorter. If you use a longer one, you get sort of lagging data, kind of like an EMA. And also, talking about Bitcoin, we are... I don't know why I've dropped to an hour there, guys. Sorry. We are below the 200 weekly moving average. Nothing good happens here, guys. And this is actually proven to have gone from being support to now resistance. And I still get the people that look at, oh, well, the RSI is oversold. Oh, well, on-chain predicts this. What you don't understand is Bitcoin has never had to deal with this environment in its 8 years, in its lifetime. Came about in 2008. It's been really quantitative easing since then. We've had Francis Hunt on the show, the Market Sniper. He's really brilliant at explaining this. It's a different environment that we're moving into, and your on-chain metrics don't mean a damn thing in this environment. And that's been proven. US strategic political reserves are running dangerously low. The issue we've got, and I really elaborated this on the community call yesterday, was that there's just so much areas of pain on the board right now. We had the ECB form yesterday. There was a lot that was said there that was kind of almost alarming. They were all very much in agreement that we weren't going to return to the world that we've come from. So, what does that mean? It's very interesting. And they all very much reiterated the fact that they were going to fight inflation, and the tools that they had to do that were interest rate hikes. They keep on keeping on until they don't. This is a downtrend until it isn't. And we'll see the shift in that downtrend. And the group that I've got is going to be very well positioned, I believe. Again, looking at dollar liquidity. What drives markets? Money. Well, if that's getting squeezed and that's getting very illiquid and everybody's getting pinched and punched in their pockets and they've not got the money to do this or that's not a good outlook whatsoever. Because you need money to go into markets to move them up and down. It is absolutely my belief that it's all about liquidity. Again, it doesn't matter how revolutionary, and I'm a crypto believer. I think blockchain is going to change the damn world. I think I'm a believer in Satoshi's vision. I think we've got very carried away and we're far from that now. And you look at all these Bitcoiners, it's really all about just, making money at this point, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't matter how revolutionary Bitcoin is. If nobody's buying it, it doesn't matter. I mean, Michael Saylor, bless him. I mean, he bought another 480 Bitcoin. That's kind of like having a $10,000 portfolio and dollar cost averaging $5 or $10 or whatever it is. Not really significant. He's still massively underwater. Bitcoin holds 20K as ECB warns inflation may never return to pre-COVID levels. So there will come a shift where essentially we will, this market will turn around and it probably will actually be on higher, not as high as we are inflation, but significantly high inflation. We're talking 3, 4, whatever percent. And that'll be when the Fed really have to pivot on their monetary tightening and go back to stimulating, because they aren't going to, going back to Jerome's hearing with Elizabeth Warren, grilling him. It wasn't just with Elizabeth Warren. He testified in front of Congress, I think last week. And Elizabeth Warren said, are interest rate hikes going to bring down oil prices? He said, no. Are they going to bring down food prices? He said, no. He said, it's unlikely. So it's kind of a beast they may not be able to tame. And this was layoffs. Looked at this yesterday in the community call. Layoffs just continue to grow. Why is this? Why are companies laying people off? Because they know what's coming. Why did Coinbase, and we spoke about this literally months ago, start to lay everybody off? They know that Coinbase is one of the best positioned companies to look at volume. They know, they see what's going on. Grayscale sues SEC after rejection of a bid to turn the largest Bitcoin fund into an ETF. This is annoying now. I get that it's Grayscale's sort of righteous claim to this, but the SEC aren't going to move until they have clear regulatory clarity on it. That being said, Gary Gensler did come out the other day and say that Bitcoin is the only thing that he can 100% say is not a security. Regulation is going to be the spur of the next bull market, I believe, because it's going to allow people to really... it's going to allow your big companies and institutions to really, and Wall Street to capitalize off Bitcoin and really promote it and pump it. Powell vows to prevent inflation from taking hold in the US for the long run. We will see. This, of course, has come out of the ECB form. I think the Bank of England manager was there, the IMF, or the World Bank. I can't remember his name, the big fella. And you had, obviously, Christine Lagarde and Jerome Powell. And they were all saying some very interesting things. Well worth watching what these guys are doing, as they're really the great manipulators of markets. That is really all I have for you in this video. Just a very, very short and sweet one, guys. You know the score. We're going to keep on keeping on until we don't. Again, for those people that say, oh, well, you were so bullish in 2021. Yeah, absolutely. Of course we were. But we've been saying for a while now, Bitcoin was at 42K here, guys. You could have got out. That's when we were largely getting out. Yes, we didn't call the 69 top. So what? Not many people did. Look at the volume that traded up there. We also didn't get out at 50. You know, but it became very apparent when we started flirting with this sort of mid-range of the long-term regression band. You also had death crosses, EMAs, all sorts of stuff. And signals flashing up. So that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. If you want to check out my Patreon, there's a link in the description. If you don't, that's fine. There's plenty of good content that I'm going to be releasing for you guys on here that should keep you on the straight and narrow in terms of trying to navigate these very treacherous waters that the cryptocurrency market finds itself in. All I've got for you guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video.